Welcome to our facility. We are dedicated to promoting a safe work environment. The following orientation will help you understand the safety and rules and procedures. The safety and health of all personnel who perform work in our facility is one of our highest priorities. Our safety program is designed to prevent injury and monetary damage, as well as achieve legal compliance with all safety and health regulations. We believe all accidents and injuries are preventable and that each day can be completed injury and accident-free. To achieve an injury and incident-free workplace, our management team has put forth the following management statement concerning safety. Safety is both a team effort and an individual responsibility. You should recognize that this orientation cannot cover every possible situation. You must use good judgment to prevent accidents. This presentation is accompanied by a safety orientation packet. Please keep it handy so that you can refer to it if you have safety questions. You can also ask safety questions of any plant employee. Please remember that while at our facility, you have the responsibility, authority, and the expectation from our management to stop all unsafe work. When you enter and exit the facility, you must sign in and out on the contractor's log. The facility uses the contractor's log to track and locate personnel in the event of an emergency. Please remember that the visitor's log is there for your safety in the event of an emergency. Personal protective equipment, commonly referred to as PPE, must be worn at all times when performing work in the facility. All personal protective equipment must be provided by your employer. If at any time during your job you recognize that you do not have the proper personal protective equipment, please stop the job until you have obtained the proper PPE. All personnel performing work in the facility are required to wear a hard hat, safety glasses with side shields, safety shoes, proper clothing, and hearing protection as required. Your personal protective equipment must meet or exceed the following specifications. You must wear a non-conductive hard hat that meets or exceeds ANSI Type 1 Class E. Certain work may require a hard hat of a higher rating. You must wear safety glasses which are labeled indicating they meet or exceed ANSI Standard Z87.1. All safety glasses must have side shields in place when working at our facility. You must wear safety shoes that meet or exceed ANSI Z41.1 and have a defined heel. You must wear proper work clothing for this facility. Clothing must have long sleeves and be constructed of all natural fiber or must be rated as flame retardant. The following clothing is never to be worn on site: loose or torn clothing, sleeveless shirts, leisure shoes such as sandals or tennis shoes. When grinding, chipping, sawing, drilling, hammering, or when performing work that generates or could generate flying objects, you must wear safety goggles or a face shield over approved safety glasses that have side shields. Chemical goggles with a face shield must be worn when working with chemicals. Hearing protection must be worn in designated areas. The facility also has signs that indicate where hearing protection is required. Please remember to look for hearing protection signs in the facility and to use hearing protection in these areas. While working at a height above 6 feet and outside of guardrails, a safety harness and lanyard must be in use. The lanyard must be attached to your harness and to an acceptable anchorage point. To locate acceptable anchorage points, please consult with a facility representative. All personnel using scaffolding must be trained in its proper use. Scaffolding must be constructed, modified, by or under the supervision of a competent person. All scaffolding components must be maintained in a safe condition. After construction or modification, a competent person using an inspection checklist or similar document must inspect the scaffolding prior to its use. Respirators may be required depending on the hazards and nature of your job. Workers that are required to wear a respirator must be covered by a respiratory protection program. The program must meet the minimum requirements of OSHA. Always read the Safety Data Sheet, or SDS, prior to working with or around any chemical. Follow the precautions identified in the SDS carefully. Make sure you wear the recommended personal protective equipment and be sure to follow the instructions for storage, use, and disposal of the chemical. Contractors must supply safety data sheets for all chemicals they will use at this location. The contractor must remove all unused chemicals at the end of the job unless other arrangements have been made with management. Plant SDS binders are available by contacting an employee of the facility. During a job walkthrough, a facility representative will point out safety equipment located in the area. Be sure to discuss the use of this equipment with a facility representative giving the job walkthrough. Be sure to ask where the nearest eye wash and safety shower is located during the job site walkthrough. The facility representative will be glad to show how to operate the eye wash and safety shower during the job site walkthrough. Make sure you ask where the nearest communication device is to your job site and how to use it during an emergency. Before using any communication equipment not provided by the facility, please check with facility management to ensure your communication device will not interfere with facility operations. Prior to performing any work at the facility, you will need to obtain a Safe Work Permit. The Safe Work Permit assures that proper job planning has been completed. The Safe Work Permit must be issued at the job site to ensure a thorough job site walkthrough has been completed. It is the contractor's, crew leader's responsibility to communicate the information provided during the walkthrough and on the Safe Work Permit to their crew. Please take the time to familiarize yourself and your crew with the exit routes and meeting places. The crew leader must list all workers on the Safe Work Permit. If there is not enough room on the Safe Work Permit, a Safe Work Permit roster must be added to the Safe Work Permit. The crew leader must verify that all workers have received this contractor's safety orientation. A documented hazard assessment should be performed for all non-routine jobs, and for all jobs that include a recognized health hazard or a high-level hazard. This facility falls under Process Safety Management, PSM, regulations, which involves contractor understanding of chemicals on site and PSM processes. This includes, but not limited to, contractor participation. Please review PSM elements during the permitting process. Confined space entry permits are required anytime a confined space is entered. Entry into a confined space occurs when any part of your body breaks the threshold of the confined space. A completed Safe Work Permit, confined space permit, and a confined space entry and exit log are required before entry into the permit-required confined space. A trained safety attendant must remain outside of the permit-required confined space at all times while work is being performed inside the space. The safety attendant must maintain contact with the entrance and continuously monitor the confined space atmosphere. Contractors are expected to provide all personnel necessary for the job. This includes confined space attendants, entrance, and rescue crew unless a previous agreement with facility management has been made. Do not operate any plant equipment, especially equipment having a red danger tag. The red danger tag is used to identify energy isolation points and to inform personnel not to operate that equipment. Work involving plant equipment may be started only after the equipment has been properly isolated using the lockout-tagout program. Before work begins, the equipment is properly prepared by a qualified facility operator and then checked by you to ensure it is energy-free. You will be required to sign on the lockout-tagout log before starting work on any equipment. Your signature indicates that you have reviewed and accepted the isolation and agree that the equipment is free of energy. You have the option of attaching your own lock and tag on the equipment you will be working on. Individual tags must be listed on a red tag location listing sheet, and the individual tag box must be checked. When your work is complete, it is your responsibility to remove your individual lock and tag and sign in the released lockout-tagout book. Please note that plant employees are the only authorized personnel to open or close valves and stop and start equipment. If while performing your job you need to test a piece of equipment or the job scope changes, notify the control room operator. A lockout-tagout change sheet will be completed by a facility staff member. The change sheet will allow the equipment to be tested or identify job scope changes that require additional or fewer isolation points. To operate equipment at this facility, you must be a trained and authorized equipment operator. Remember, you are required to use all safety equipment, including but not limited to seatbelts and fall protection devices, and document all daily inspections for equipment you operate at this facility. When work is performed near overhead power lines, no part of the equipment will be permitted within 10 feet of the power lines. Loads must be controlled at all times. It is recommended that a tagline be used on all crane lifts. A critical lift calculation and planning worksheet may be necessary if the load exceeds 75% of the crane's rated capacity. This applies to boom length and angle. You are moving the load over power lines, equipment, or buildings, or if moving the crane with the load suspended. All spark, flame, or high heat generated operations must have a hot work permit prior to work beginning. Welding, grinding, and high heat operations present a high risk of fire and injuries. You must always be on the lookout for conditions that can start a fire when performing this type of work. To monitor and prevent accidental fires at this facility, all spark, flame, or high heat generating operations must have a hot work permit. A fire extinguisher rated for the area must be available. Be sure to inspect fire extinguishers prior to ensure the fire extinguisher is rated for all potential fire. All welding and grinding operations require a fire watch. The fire watch must be trained in the operation of the fire extinguisher and emergency notification procedures. The fire watch must monitor the area for fires and ensure the safety of the area where the work is occurring. The fire watch must remain at the job location for 30 minutes after the work has stopped to ensure no fire starts due to smoldering embers or sparks. Only qualified and authorized individuals can work on or alter electrical circuits. This includes extension cords, tools, motors, controls, and any other electrical conducting circuit or equipment. For more electrical safety information, please consult with your employer's electrical safety program and the facility's electrical safety program. Notify your crew leader and facility management immediately about all injuries, equipment breakage, accidents, near hits or misses, spills, or property damage. Due to our geographical location, this facility can experience high temperatures. Please make sure you know the signs of heat-related illnesses. Protect yourself and fellow crew members from heat-related illnesses by taking appropriate breaks and staying hydrated. Always lift using safe lifting techniques. Bend your knees and hold the object close to your body. Keep your back vertical and use your legs to lift, not your back. Get help with heavy loads or a load that is too bulky to handle safely. This facility has an emergency response plan. Be sure you are aware of the evacuation routes, emergency meeting places, and alarms before starting work. If an emergency occurs, safely stop your work immediately and report to the designated meeting place. Remember, no job is complete until all trash is removed from the job site. All waste and trash must be disposed of properly. If you have questions about waste disposal, please consult a qualified facility representative. If your clothes get soaked with oil or other chemicals, remove the contaminated clothing as soon as possible and report this to your supervisor. Be sure to practice good hygiene by washing your hands before eating. In closing, let's review some of our specific facility rules. All tools must have proper guards in place and be properly adjusted. All safety equipment must be in good working condition and at a minimum inspection prior to its use. Use tools for their intended purpose only. Please be sure to inspect your tools prior to use each day. Observe all federal, state, and local laws and safety regulations. The facility's speed limit is 5 miles per hour. Parking on facility property is at the discretion of the facility's management. Do not operate any vehicle in an unsafe manner. A spotter is required during vehicle backing if the vehicle will be backed more than one vehicle length. When it is necessary to back a vehicle without a spotter, the operator must walk the planned route to familiarize themselves with potential hazards. If a turn must be made while backing, the operator must stop and re-walk the planned vehicle route prior to making the turn. You must have management approval before using cameras of any kind. No alcohol or illegal drugs, or those under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol, are allowed onto the property. Please make sure your management is aware of any prescription drug that could affect your or someone else's safety or your ability to operate equipment safely. No gambling, weapons, firearms, or projectiles are allowed on the premises at any time. Do not remove, damage, or interfere with any safety device or warning sign. Do not take part in fighting, horseplay, or other activities that could injure or distract someone. If you have any safety questions, please ask the person presenting this orientation or the lead operator at any time. Please remember that the lead operator is your main point of contact concerning facility safety and compliance with facility rules. Always act with safety in mind. This facility has a strong commitment to safety, and you have the responsibility to know and follow the safety rules and to stop any unsafe act you see. Be sure to practice safety every day in every job you do. Please remember that everyone at this facility is depending on you to help make this a safe workplace.